yes, we've all gone bananas. The GOP's MAGA bananas today. Oh yeah, the GOP's MAGA bananas today. Oh yeah, the GOP's MAGA bananas today.
This. Now. Welcome to Dude Process. I'm Matt.
And I'm Grady.
And today we're going to process what is just going on in the world with basically, specifically, the Trump administration. There's always stuff going on. Lots of craziness happening at an accelerated rate every day, every hour, every minute. And this is why we try to process between ourselves as dudes just what the fuck is going on. Grady, what the fuck is going on this week?
Well, the first thing we're doing, you notice I have on sunglasses, is that we are concerned, that Trump may, send the FBI or something like that out after us because we might say something critical about it.
Shit.
Now, we want to say that, we do have the right under the Constitution to express political opinions.
Right.
And so I can say at the outset that everything that we say is going to be a form of opinion.
Okay.
Even psychiatrists, doctors, and lawyers, when they say something, they say, but that's my opinion.
But that's my opinion.
Right.
But wait a second. Wait a goddamn second.
But my current concern is that notwithstanding our rights, that they might want to liquidate us because we say something negative.
Right.
So I'm wearing the sunglasses to make me not, so people wouldn't know who I am. And you'll notice that we used just our first names.
Oh, okay. We're using our first name.
Right.
But that's my disguise. Is I have a big fucking M on my hat because I'm like 12 years old.
Well, that could stand for Melody or something.
Melody. That's a pretty name. I'm glad that you gave me a pretty name. A Melody.
But Matt is okay. And also, we thought we should film from a different location every time.
Oh, God, that's right. I forgot the biggest part.
The first 3 or so that we've done was in the same city. We won't mention the city.
In an undisclosed location in the United States.
But we're now, as you can see behind us, filming from London.
We're live from London.
Right.
Well, we're not live. We're taping from London.
We're taping from London, and of course we'll leave London and tape somewhere else for the next session.
Oh, wait. So, I didn't go to that meeting. We're actually traveling.
Right.
Like across different countries.
Yeah, different continents, different oceans and so forth. So it'll be difficult. Now, I know that some people could say, well, we could still be traced. In fact, I'm going to have to take off my sunglasses. Yeah. Because I have to have real glasses on to see. Right. But I'm not worried that I'll be recognized because Trump's people, like the head of the FBI and so forth, are using Trump's own words, low IQ people. Or at least he talks about people who work for the government as low IQ.
As low IQ people.
So I'm figuring they won't be able to identify us if we use our first names.
I got you. Well, yeah, that's true. There's lots of Grady's.
And of course, we're filming from London.
From London.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I'm Grady.
And I'm Matt.
Okay. Shall I
go? What's going on, Grady? There's so much shit going on. I don't even know.
Well, the last session, the main topic was skincare because he had talked about Bruce Springsteen's skin, and I think we proved, although it was still our opinion, that Trump's skin was worse than Springsteen's because we couldn't tell the difference between his skin and that of a navel orange.
And we showed pictures of it.
A navel orange may or may not be more intelligent than Trump, but the skin is just the same as his. So we're going to go into mental health.
Okay, his mental acuity.
Right, acuity, health, awareness, whatever.
Right.
But that's been a big issue in the papers.
Right.
Among the many other issues.
Yeah.
his fight with Elon Musk is.
That's the big thing in the last 2 days, huh?
But well, why don't we start off with mental health?
Right.
Because I did some deep research on Wikipedia.
You did some deep research on Wikipedia.
I read a whole page of Wikipedia.
Right. Your deep research consists of going on Wikipedia.
On Wikipedia.
But they have a lot of sources.
I didn't. That's right. They have many sources.
I love Wikipedia.
In fact, anybody can put anything they want there.
That's true.
But it's printed out as if it's really good stuff.
That is. But hopefully it self-polices itself. And if somebody puts up something wrong, somebody takes it down.
Well, this has had a long time self-policing, so I'm sure it's accurate. But it goes all the way back to Trump running for his first term.
Oh, goodness.
And there were a number of people, both doctors, lawyers, psychiatrists, that worried that Trump had an unstable mental health.
Right.
For various reasons.
Now, this is what, 2016?
2016, I think.
Jesus.
Or maybe 2015.
It's fucking...
I think he started his term in
10 years into this shit.
Yeah, and he's gotten 10 years older.
God.
He looks it, for sure.
He does
because his skin looks like maybe a shriveled navel orange.
Not even a fresh navel orange. More of a...
It could be one that, fell off the tree a while back.
Might look like a skin of the navel orange that fell off the truck, lied in the sun, lay in the sun for a couple of hours. Right. Look like Trump's skin.
That's an opinion.
That's an opinion that you have.
Right. And let's see, I have some notes here. Trump was very proud of his having hired Elon Musk to be, I guess, the attack dog on the federal bureaucracy.
Yeah, that was his job, I guess.
And he developed this department called DOGE, Department of Government
Efficiency.
I think that's what it was.
But also,
so Elon is someone whose mental acuity should be considered too. So after looking at Wikipedia and looking up psychology and psychiatrists in the dictionaries, I've come to an opinion that both of them are certified nuts.
Oh, so that's your opinion, is it?
That's my opinion.
After taking
I'm not a doctor or a psychiatrist or anything.
But these are almost like you're taking a pool of diagnoses and from professional...
And I am a good observer of human condition.
You're a lawyer.
Well, I'm a retired lawyer.
You were a lawyer.
But then everything I said as a lawyer was an opinion also. I would say... My opinion is that the law is this, but a judge could say something different.
Your opinion is wrong.
I didn't think it was wrong, but
you're arguing from the point of righteousness. But today, in your when I do that, I make the microphones. In your opinion, you've been doing research, and who's psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health professionals?
Yeah. And I won't name them. They've asked to be anonymous.
Okay, we can keep them anonymous.
We're talking about sensitive stuff here.
Yeah.
But there are a good number of professional and non-professional people who think both of them are wackos.
Yeah.
And,
well, I believe I think,
excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think in terms of narcissism, they both are wacko.
That's what you said. So your diagnosis is nutcase and also wackos, but narcissism seems to be an actual diagnosis.
They both enjoy their nuttiness, I think, because they think it's very cool.
They do enjoy their nuttiness. They probably enjoy their narcissism as well, though. Right. The one good thing about it, Grady, though, I think you hit on something that I've never really thought about. They love to watch themselves being nuts. They're not. I just love to. I'm going to say something nuts, especially in the last 2 days. Fuck this guy. Well, fuck that guy.
And they have their own social media, which amplifies anything they say
Right.
to 2 million people every
Right.
time they do it.
This is just having fights like on a thing of that they own.
Well, let's go back to Trump, and then we can
Okay.
move on to Elon.
Right.
Trump loves to criticize anybody that he wants to.
Right.
If if he likes him at the time, he'll praise someone. But
Yeah.
if there's anything, if that someone turns against anything that he's for or he thinks he has, he or she, then he'll, immediately hurl insults.
Right.
And his favorite insult is low IQ. This is a low IQ person.
Right.
Implying, I guess, in his mind that he's a high IQ person.
That's what I think he said he has big brain, big, beautiful brain.
Yeah, sometimes big brains are not very full of accurate information.
Might be encephalitis.
Could be.
Or mongoloid. No, that's not. Yeah, you could be a mongoloid in the past two generations.
I don't know if that's politically correct.
I don't think so either, but I don't know what you call them. A person with a big head doesn't necessarily, as a matter of fact, I have a very large head, doesn't necessarily make them intelligent. I know this from first-hand experience.
From first-person
From
experience.
first-hand experience, yes.
Right.
Having a large head doesn't make you intelligent.
Okay.
But he did say, you know what he said, Grady, though, too? During the COVID thing that was funny, when he was to go around with his big hat, and he was like, I talked to the doctors about COVID, and you know what they said? Sir, you understand so much, you should be a doctor as well.
Wow.
That was when COVID first started years ago. He was saying, because he always says his brother or his cousin, one of his relatives goes to Harvard, and then it used to be followed by, one of his shtick was, I have such a big, beautiful brain, I could be a doctor too as well.
Did he have to have an oversized hat?
He probably did.
That was for his hair, though, right?
I think it's for his hair, but it's one of those stand-up trucker hats.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got it does make him look like a developmentally disabled person.
Yeah.
At a carnival.
Well, sometimes you don't even have to look like that to be developmentally disabled.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, so low IQ, I think.
Yeah.
After observing him for his first term and then the first few months of this term, and the stuff that he said during what he thinks was his second term about the election being stolen and so forth.
Right.
He is either a horribly low IQ, or he's a very disingenuous person.
Yeah.
To believe most of what he says.
Right.
So I'll go with low IQ because that's an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to use that term, low IQ.
Yeah.
Then we've got this big, beautiful bill.
Oh my goodness.
Anybody that thinks that 1,000-page legislation from Congress, it is big, but nothing that comes out of Congress is beautiful.
That's true. Nature is beautiful.
And the bigger the bill, usually the uglier it is when you look at the details.
Absolutely.
And, I think that Elon probably looked at some of the details, like taking out the tax incentives for buying electric vehicles and stuff.
So that's actually that was in the bill.
Well, I've read that it was in the bill.
So
I haven't read the bill itself. It was too big.
It's like crazy. It's too big. It's too beautiful. You get blinded by the beauty of legislation. Not by a flower or a beautiful woman, but just an actual piece of legislation. But Grady, and I hate to interrupt you because I know you're on the thing.
I have these notes because I can't remember anything.
Okay, go.
No, go ahead.
Is that the point? Was that the original point of contention to this bullshit that's going on? Did Musk realize that was in the, quote, big, beautiful bill? And did that piss him off? What I'm trying to say, is that the origin? What's the fuck? Do we know what started this bitch spat?
Well, I think again, this is my opinion, of course, that Elon thought he had bought himself a president because he put $300 million into the election, and he has said that Trump would never have been elected had it not been for Elon and his money. So he probably asked Trump for something, and Trump didn't do it or forgot about it or something like that, like the EV tax credit, which has affected Tesla sales.
I guess so. A lot of things have affected it.
Right.
He himself has affected
That's
Tesla.
right. He, to be so supposedly smart, he's definitely rich.
Yeah.
And he's done great things. I want to talk about SpaceX, but he's not very smart to think that the rest of the world who would have bought Teslas are going to continue to buy Teslas when he is Trump's right-hand hatchet man. Whether the government needs to be downsized is a real question that should be examined. But the way he went about it, he destroyed a lot of lives and a lot of people's reputations and so forth by just eliminating their jobs.
He went on it.
There was no empathy involved either.
Well, yeah, it's also not. I mean, that's what he was, I guess, famous for in Tesla and Twitter. Is making, we're going to fire those people.
That's
everybody who was at Twitter said, oh my God, we got to, we have to unplug all these servers and shit that won't work right I don't care. We're just unplugging it. It's that fucking bull in a china shop ideology. Let's go in and we're going to cut and fire people.
Yeah. And with regard to Trump, it's more like bullshit in a china shop, but it is that. But there has been this back and forth between Trump and Elon that the Republican Party is trying to tamp down. I don't know if it's been tamped down or not, but he's even brought up Jeffrey Epstein.
I heard that too, yeah.
A sex offender, I think, who's dead now.
He hung himself.
But
it's very contentious if he didn't.
But he mentioned that, I'm not saying that he was, but Elon Musk says that he's in the Epstein files.
That's what he tweeted.
Now, I don't know whether Trump is in those files, or mentioned in the files, or is a separate chapter of the files. But it makes me wonder,
You pissed him off. He's going to say the dirt.
If he was involved with Epstein, he was at least associated with some pretty bad stuff.
You would imagine so.
Yeah. And anyway, Elon allegedly uses a lot of drugs.
Trump alleges ketamine, but there's lots of video of him tweaking or whatever the fuck he's doing. He's going like, he does. I think they call it.
You mean twitching?
No, they call it. There's an actual drug term. I think, I don't know, maybe it's called tweaking. And there's a clip of him doing like this in the thing. And I guess Trump threw him under the bus and said, he tweeted, or Truth Social, whatever the fuck they do. He said, he's always high on ketamine.
Now, ketamine is a drug for hyperactive people, or what is it? What is it?
Now, my experience, I don't have direct experience.
You're not a pharmacist.
I'm not a pharmacist, and I never tried ketamine, but I remember there used to be a thing called Special K that used to be for horses. But I don't know. Ketamine, I don't know if it's legally prescribed for anything.
That's kind of like a horse in a china shop.
Be more like a horse in a china shop, would you?
That's still bad.
Yes.
So ketamine, and I heard ecstasy.
Ecstasy, I heard too.
And he does seem sometimes ecstatic about what he's doing, but I don't know the symptoms of ecstasy taking. I don't know. There are a lot of those.
Yeah.
I do know that the one thing he did do, which I have to give, this is Elon, his SpaceX rocket rescued those astronauts who had been in space for 6 months because Boeing's rocket didn't work. Or they were worried that it wouldn't work.
Right.
And I think that that's not good for Boeing.
It's not good for, it doesn't look good on your company.
And it wasn't good for those 2 astronauts.
It sucks to be in space and stuck.
But his SpaceX rocket brought him back safely.
Great. I hate to say, I know you're supposed to, that's the whole thing. Never to forget that, before this fucking guy, everybody was talking about electric cars are good, and electric cars are still good. And for me personally, I love the space shit. I think you should feed people on the Earth first and take care of that shit. But I love the space. Go into space. I go into Mars. Do all that shit.
Yeah, I've been liking that ever since the science fiction days.
Oh, absolutely! It's Star Trek and stuff, all about space.
It was a lot more fun when you could do what you wanted to. You didn't really have to do the stuff you have to do to get into space. Where you could just light the rocket, and next thing you knew, you landed in Mars.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
But now it's too hard.
It is.
Now you need billions of dollars.
Yeah. But anyway, we wanted to talk about Trump's mental capacity.
Okay, Trump's mental capacity, Grady. What have you found?
Well, I have found that a lot of people question, whether he has an attention span, whether he's losing his capacity.
Right.
Some have compared his first term to now, and he's got a lower vocabulary, according to some people.
Wow.
That he only uses about 25 words anyway.
Yeah.
It's big and beautiful.
Big, beautiful, loser,
and
low IQ.
Right. And I'm the winner. And so,
Winner.
Yeah, right.
Failing.
Right.
Failing New York Times.
Yeah. The crooked, anybody?
The crooked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. It may add up to a few more than 25, but
but you could guess.
He doesn't have a good vocabulary.
Right.
He says he has a high IQ, but I have not been able to verify that from an independent source.
Yeah, I don't know which independent source would verify.
I don't even think Wikipedia has that in there, but I haven't read but one page.
Right.
So. And then the big beautiful bill, he campaigned on the fact that the Democrats had increased the national debt, and that he was going to, and he used Elon to do part of this, going to cut the cost of government.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, this big beautiful bill increases it by some trillions of dollars, which is more than we've ever owed as a country. And I don't know how he reconciles that, other than it's a big beautiful bill. And
it says it.
To him, that may be true.
Right. That's called big things.
That's his opinion.
His opinion is it's a big, beautiful bill.
Right.
But is that the name of it? Is it written down on the fucking bill?
Oh, I must check that out.
I bet it is. I bet you it is.
It's a multi-hundred page.
Right, but the first page probably does say big beautiful fucking bill. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't say fucking bill. Oh, and the thing about the AP though too. Did you hear the AP? He threw the AP out of for a while ago, but now the and then the AP filed a lawsuit, and then the Supreme Court said, oh no, he has the right to know who's in the press pool, who's in the press room at the time. But the reason I didn't realize the original reason that he threw the AP out was because they still were using the term Gulf of Mexico. They did not adopt the term Gulf of America. So it is very kind of Orwellian in that way of like, oh, you're not going to do that.
And it's a psychological indication that he's nuts, because it's not the Gulf of America, it's the Gulf of Mexico, and has been for 500 years.
Right. Maybe you should put your sunglasses back on, because that's a treasonous statement.
Do you think that he has the right to just name?
God, no, it's just a fucking pandering bullshit.
What about the Gulf of California, which is right below California? Could he make that the Gulf of Florida or something?
I guess you could,
because he lives in Florida.
He could say whatever he wants. But what's interesting is that he does say, if you don't agree, if you're not reporting it the way I need it to be reported, and their argument was like, well, we're the Associated Press, we go out, other people outside of this asylum that we call the United States refer to it as the Gulf of Mexico. And he said, nope, We're not your biased, fake loser bullshit.
Well, that just adds to the questions about his insanity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he is insane in a narcissistic way.
Oh, God, yeah.
And in a limited knowledge, low IQ way.
Yeah.
It's hard to measure IQ from just observing him in any way except low. You know?
Right. Yeah. He hasn't done anything that seems high IQ.
That's right.
Like complete a sentence.
Right.
You know, he has
without
complete
going
thoughts.
off into 3 or 4.
Right.
But he called that some sort
Weaving.
of
It's called weaving.
Yeah.
Is
And I always called weaving something that ladies did out west when the cowboys were out fighting.
they would weave on their porch.
Yeah.
You can weave away from a drunken driver.
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah, you could be a drunken driver and weave your car.
You'd probably be more weaving if you were the drunken driver. That's true.
That's right. One other thing I was going to mention. I don't mean to.
No, Grady.
But see, I have these notes.
I got you.
That keep my mental acuity sharp.
Yes.
There have been a few opinion columnists talking about the back and forth. Each of these narcissistic nuts have their own social media. That's an unusual thing.
Yeah.
Where you can write something and it immediately goes to 2 million people.
Right. And they own it.
And they own it. That's right. And Align paid $40 billion for his. Trump inherited immediate everybody looking at everything he puts on there because he's president.
Right.
But they both have been referred to as adolescents in politics.
Yeah.
I thought adolescents, teenagers, and adolescents, according to medical information that I've read, don't have fully developed brains.
Yeah, I've read that too. Yeah.
And you have to become an adult maybe in your 30s or something before you get enough brain power to make good judgments.
Right.
And I've got a feeling that part of both of those guys' brains are not fully developed.
That's it's very childish. Yeah.
Yeah, and that can be bad if you have control over the country's naming of the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
And stuff like that. So then, in another opinion column I read, they both were accused of having a toxic immaturity. And I liked that.
Toxic immaturity.
Right.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard the term toxic, but it fits.
Yeah.
It's toxic immaturity.
Yeah,
it's
they
like
act immaturely and in a bad
Right.
way, a bad way that would affect a lot of people.
Not like giving your mother a cookie or a cake. That would
right.
be probably positive.
Right.
Immaturity. Or drawing a nice picture.
Or assaulting your parents.
Yeah.
If they said you really ought to do good instead of bad.
Right. If you assault them, that would be pretty toxic.
Insulting.
Insulting, yeah.
Or insulting would be
Insulting them first and then assaulting them would be examples of toxic immaturity. So somebody said this, a psychologist, has the term toxic immaturity?
This was actually a newspaper columnist that said that, but probably that was their opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's a good phrase.
But anyway, we are the ones stuck with these people in the news, and we're stuck with a guy who's toxically immature who renamed the Gulf of Mexico without apparent authority.
Yeah.
The Gulf of America.
Right.
We don't need a Gulf of America. We need a Gulf of Mexico just for the color and character of the Gulf.
Right.
And for 500 years.
Right. And it's like toxic immaturity. It's like a kid crossing something out on a map and saying, I'm going to make this the Gulf of Trump or the Gulf of America. Yeah. Just like when the tornado or the hurricane years ago in his first thing, when he had the map and that he got caught saying it was in a different state, he just drew on the map. Remember, he drew another line.
Yeah.
That he's like, it goes on there, don't you?
Oh, that's right. He misinterpreted the.
He said, it was going to a different state, and they said, "Sir, that's not on the map." And he said, "Oh, yes, it is."
Oh, he took the track.
Yes, the track of the
projected
storm.
track.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, we probably are using up most of our time here, but I would like to just underscore my opinion. And the things I've read in the notes
Please.
I put down.
Yeah.
That both Musk and Trump should reconsider, their abilities mentally to be in the positions that they're in. I think Musk is probably more capable in terms of intelligence, maybe not mature in terms of his emotional reactions to things.
Right.
But Trump
That's not good.
seems to doesn't care what his acts do,
Right.
unless they don't bring him glory.
Yeah.
And so anything that is criticized that happens, he's got conveniently somebody else to blame.
Right.
But he is the leader. What he needs to understand is a leader, a president is elected by the people. He's a servant
Right.
too.
That's
But
absolutely
he's
right.
never understood that word as it applied to him.
No.
And the other thing I'd like to add is we invited Congress to let us know what is the better in Make America Great.
Right.
What was the period that was better?
Oh, that's
than
right. In the
now,
last
or better
last
than
episode,
any
yes.
other time, that America was great. What are we trying to go back to?
Right, right.
Because the word again seems to imply that at one time we were great,
Right.
that the MAGA people are aspiring to, and
Right.
We haven't heard. So, any of you out there who have an idea of what the what period that refers to,
Right.
we'll give you an address later because we're moving to another
Gotta
location
go to a
as
new
soon as this
location.
program.
I don't
is
even
over.
know where we're going.
Yeah.
I just heard about
I
this.
don't even know where we are in London right now because we do need to.
They bring us in trucks
Right.
with no windows.
Yeah, that's right, or black helicopters or
Right.
something like that.
It's very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
secretive.
And I just have one more question.
Yeah,
You may
yeah.
have the answer to that,
Yeah.
and that is, what kind of hairdo does Trump have now? Does he have a hair implant, or is that a toupee,
It's supposed to be a scalp
a scalp
reduction.
So they take out part of his scalp and then put it back in the
Yes,
front there
they
or something?
cut it, and he did it when he was younger, and it cuts, and that's why he had like people originally like you could pull on it and stuff. But I think still, if the scalp, I guess your hairlines are meeting your hairlines, but still, if your hair falls out, that's why it looks so fucked up. Is that it still turns into a comb over, no matter how many times you do it. Yeah, it's not a good look ever.
But it seems to have changed. I saw a recent.
Oh,
picture.
really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he's added a toupee or something.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Because I haven't seen the wind blow his hair away, which it used to do sometimes and show his bald head.
Right.
But I think it's glued down now or something.
Maybe.
Or maybe he just uses more hair.
He might. I'm sure he's got somebody to spray him
Hairspray,
down.
yeah.
But that's probably the reason for the large.
Yeah. And I was also wondering whether the hairspray is like 10 in a can too, so that would be efficient if he's in a hurry.
Just
Get his hair down and his face orange.
just blow it. Psh,
Yeah.
Big fucking cloud.
Yeah.
And he's orange
And if anybody knows the answer to these questions, please let us know.
absolutely,
Because
please.
we want to stay informed so we can inform everybody who watches this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we're about. We're about information
That's right.
and veracity, I think.
And we want to make sure our information is properly sourced.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else at this point because I can't read my notes that well. But toxic immaturity,
Yeah.
the national debt, which the big beautiful bill is about to double. And then the personalities of Trump and Musk. I understand that if I had paid $300 million to get someone elected, I would.
Oh yeah.
I would think that.
Oh God.
I owned that person.
Yes.
But I did not do that, nor have I ever.
You haven't bought a president or a politician.
Bought a president.
Even though I guess an alderman, I guess if the president is $300 million, an alderman might be like $18 to get an alderman.
Well, we had a Republican president of Watkinsville.
Yeah.
Who
we did?
Yeah, who resigned because he didn't.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Well, we won't mention his name because he's local and he might know that we're.
Yeah, but we're in London.
Well, yeah, but we have
when we go home.
We have to go home every now and then. And I said Oconee County. I didn't say what state.
That's
there's
true.
an Oconee County in South Carolina.
Yeah. There's probably other Oconee counties.
Right, probably all over the world there are Oconee counties.
In Zimbabwe, I think there's Oconee County.
Right.
So that's it, Grady?
That's all I have right now. Did we do that? We did the drugs.
We didn't do the drugs. We discussed it.
We discussed them.
We didn't do the drugs. Not yet.
Some of the drugs I'd never heard of, but you filled me in on that.
Yeah.
But drugs are important to heal.
Right.
And then some are recreational.
Right.
And it seems like Musk enjoys both of them.
He probably does. Maybe he over-medicates something. It's quite possible.
Right. And we mentioned the big, beautiful bill and Jeffrey Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that there are 15 things that occurred while we were talking.
I'm sure there are too.
We'll want to talk about. So I hope you tune in. Tune in and turn in, and send us some information to talk about.
Absolutely, the topics you want to hear.
Especially, what is that great again that we're seeing?
What is the America? What time frame are you talking about when you say "Make America Great Again"?
Was it a time when we had a president like Trump? I don't know that we've ever had a president quite as weird as Trump.
Yeah.
But it was sometime when we were great again, that we want to be great like again.
Saying again, it refers to something at one time. What is that they are saying? What time are they saying America was great?
And now we're sitting here talking about things. It occurred to me that his birthday parade is coming up soon.
What's that, in June 16th?
Yes, I think it's about a week away.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost about $6 million, I understand. Jesus. And think of what $6 million could do for education, for feeding the hungry.
Right. $6 million fixed up Steve Austin when it made him the Bionic Man, the $6 million man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He fell out of the thing. That's disgusting, though. It's oh God. He's going to have tanks.
It's very narcissistic of him.
Jesus.
Which is consistent with his wanting to be a dictator. To be a fascist.
Right.
If you shaved Trump's head, he would look a little bit like Mussolini.
Right. Yeah.
But that's about as close. I think even Mussolini had more brain power than...
I think all the dictators were more intelligent. Or at least had some kind of vision besides
maybe they had a greater regard of themselves to think that to make their countries think that they should be the sole leaders. But maybe Trump just does not have enough guts to say I'm the leader for life.
Right.
I think he would love for someone else to say that for him.
That's interesting. That could be his play right there, though, too. I'm not going to say it, but the people say, they want me. I don't want to do it.
Right.
I could, because he's already pulled that shit. I could be off and playing golf and stuff. I'm doing this for you. I forego my salary and all that bullshit.
I think he's going to fly off on his gift jet plane from the Arabs.
Oh, God. Did that ever go through?
I think he accepted it.
He said he was
that's
gonna
the
accept
latest
it.
Thing. Yeah, that he got somebody in the government to accept it for him.
Right.
And he's going to use it while he's president and after he's president.
After he's president.
So that sounds like a emolument to me.
That definitely sounds like an emolument.
And I had to look up emolument, but that's a gift.
Yeah.
So
But isn't that also something you put on your face, your emoluments?
something like that. I think.
Or
he has
ablations. What are you, ablutions?
Ablutions.
Ablutions.
Yeah.
But isn't it also emolument if you put it nice?
Well, if it is, he's got a lot of it on his face. So, yeah.
All right, Grady, I think we're good for today.
Okay. I enjoyed it. We'll see you in an undisclosed location
Next time, we don't even know where we'll be, but we'll be here next time on Dude Process. This is Grady.
And this is. Oh, I'm saying this is.
We're going to be here next time
Matt
on
with no last name.
Jesus Christ, you knew me for like, I don't know, 20, God, a long time, 20 years. I'll try it again. All right, next time on Dude Process, we'll be here, blah, blah. And this is Grady.
And this is Matt.
Yes, and we'll see you then.
Oh yeah, the GOP's MAGA bananas today. Oh yeah, the GOP's MAGA bananas today.